Welcome back to the show. Well, we've been talking about affordability in the media for, it seems like, years now. Certainly, the pandemic has made things a lot worse for so many people. And as you know, the Bank of Canada just raised its interest rates last week, and another planned interest rate probably to be raised in July at some point. Here to talk more about some of the latest results of the latest Affordability Index that BDO did. I'm joined by Bolduc, Senior Vice President and licensed insolvency trustee. Welcome back, Andre.
Hi, nice to be here, Derek.
Good to have you here. Wish you were here discussing better news. But I think these surveys, this affordability index, it's incredibly important to do. Let's talk about some of the latest results. What were some of the findings?
Well, I wrote them down here. There's quite a few, actually.
Okay.
So what we found is that 50% of people are reducing their living expenses, to counter rising costs. So people are adapting their budgets.
So are we talking about like essentials that they're having to cut back on?
It's a combination of essentials and non-essentials.
Okay.
56% have cut back on non-essentials. That's such things as vacation, eating out. But they're also making changes, 43% to essentials. So different food choices, maybe holding off on clothing. And also, we found that 27% are using some of savings, that they have to make ends meet.
Having to dip into their savings. I mean, and when somebody in your profession sees the Bank of Canada raise interest rates yet again, I think we have an understanding of why they're doing it. But is it worrisome to you as a professional, as an insolvency trustee?
Well, it's worrisome for the public, who ultimately we help with debt problems, because anyone on a variable rate mortgage, they're seeing their payments go up. So someone, for example, with a $550,000 mortgage, they were paying $2,200 on a variable rate. Now it's around $3,600.
Wow! And
that's not uncommon in the Ottawa area, or the GTA or Vancouver, for example, and other areas.
When we look at, reaching out for professional help, I think people are, they're reluctant to do it, right? Because they don't want to say to themselves, you know what, I'm in a position where I may be going bankrupt. And I think that's the first thing that comes to people's mind, Andre. But that's not the only solution. There are other solutions available out there, right?
Absolutely. What we're seeing in the Canadian statistics is 80% of people are choosing to do a consumer proposal, and bankruptcies is only about 20%.
Okay.
So that's when you can work out a payment plan with your creditors through a formal process that you do through a licensed insolvency trustee. So that's a very popular process, if you will. The other thing that we found in our statistics that was concerning is that about 30% of people feel overwhelmed by their debt. It means they can't keep up, they don't know what the solutions are. And in Ontario, it's actually a bit higher, 32%. But what's particularly more concerning is only about half of those people are considering turning to a debt professional or getting advice. So there's quite a bit of work to do there in terms of raising awareness and for people to know that there are solutions.
Yeah, why? I mean, let's say they even know there's solutions. Why do you think people would be reluctant in general to reach out to a professional?
Well, finances and debt. People don't like to talk about those things. It's still a taboo topic. Financial literacy is not, there's still room for improvement in Canada about having discussions with that. And also people feel that maybe they'll get judged if they reach out to us.
Right.
And there might be a sense of shame. But there shouldn't be. And once people reach out, I mean, the most common comment I'll get is, I should have done this sooner, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. So it helps to talk about these things, try to work out solutions, as opposed to, burying your head in the sand and suffering, often in silence.
Yeah, and Andre, one of the things I think was surprising to a lot of Canadians, and perhaps it shouldn't be, is household debt here in Canada. It's the highest among the G7. Any understanding why that might be?
It comes down to two things mainly. One is our housing market in Canada. So there's a high demand right now, and supply is still limited. So there's big challenges there. And since 2008, the financial crisis, interest rates were very, very low. Mm-hmm. So people were more comfortable in taking on debt. So, and with houses being more rare or harder to get, prices went up, and
Right.
the credit was there to fuel that. That's the main reason compared to our other G7 counterparts.
What advice can you give people out there that find themselves, swimming in debt? What's the starting point?
Well, number one, a lot of people have already started doing it. It's cutting back on expenses, having a budget that balances. If you do have savings, it's okay in the short term to use those to get by, but it's not sustainable over the long term. Furthermore, I'm always concerned when people use their savings, especially if they're cashing our RRSPs. I would not cash in our RRSPs to pay debt.
Okay.
Okay, those things are exempt from your creditors, and get advice before you do that. The second thing that we found in the survey is that 26% or a quarter of Canadians are looking at getting a side hustle or getting one. So increasing your income can help make ends meet. But be cautious though, because on that income you have to pay income tax. So people should set aside at least 30% of what they earn for income tax. And if you're going to be in a tax bracket, over $80,000, you should save up to 40%.
Okay. Yeah, those side hustles, I think some of them, I was telling you about that earlier today, can get some people into some big trouble. Andre, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back with more right after this. Don't go anywhere.